What if the very thing people once called too much, your intensity, your deep dives, your fascinations, was actually one of your greatest strengths? For autistic people, hyperfocus isn't just getting lost in something, it's where passion meets purpose. And when you learn how to use it intentionally, it can completely transform how you live, create, and even heal. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Michelle. I'm an autistic mum raising 3 autistic kids with my ADHD husband. If I could please ask you to like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell. It really does help the channel and our community grow. So let's talk about hyperfocus, unlocking your autistic passions. Beyond the buzzword. Have you ever been so absorbed in something that the world just fades away? Like you start a project in the morning and suddenly the sun's setting and you haven't eaten, you're still in your PJs and you have no idea what time it is. That's what most people might call being in the zone. But for autistic people, it often goes way deeper, and that's what we call hyperfocus. Now, a lot of people misunderstand what hyperfocus really is. Some think it's the same as obsession or distraction, like we get stuck on random things. But hyperfocus isn't random at all. It's when your mind locks in on something meaningful and everything else just kind of drops away. It's not about being unable to focus, it's about focusing too well and too deeply sometimes. And that can be both incredible and overwhelming, depending on how we manage it. So in this video, we're going to break it down. What hyperfocus actually is, how our brains make it happen, how we can use it to grow our skills and confidence, and how to avoid the burnout that sometimes sneaks up when our passion turns into overload. The neurobiology of the deep dive. So what's actually going on in our brains when we hyperfocus? Well, when something really captures our interest, the brain's reward system kicks in, especially the dopamine pathways. That's the brain chemical that motivates us and gives us a sense of satisfaction. For neurotypical people, dopamine is released in more even bursts throughout different tasks. But for many of us on the spectrum, it spikes when we find something we really care about, and dips when we're bored or forced into something we find meaningless. So when we do find that thing that lights us up, it's like our brain goes, yes, this, more of this, please. And we can stay in that state for hours or even days because it feels rewarding, peaceful, and purposeful. Now, you've probably heard of the term flow state. That's when someone is fully immersed in an activity, like an artist painting or a gamer deep in a challenge. Hyperfocus is kind of similar, but it's more intense. It can feel like time stops existing, like you're completely absorbed, not by choice, but because your brain is so locked in that you can't switch off. Now, I've experienced this quite a few times in my life. One of my biggest hyperfocus phases was my Monster High doll era. It started pretty innocently. I loved watching videos of people customizing dolls. You know, those incredible artists who repaint the faces and style the hair, design the outfits. I was totally obsessed. And eventually I thought, I want to try this. So I did. I started customizing dolls myself, and it became this amazing creative outlet. I even set up an Etsy store, started selling them, and had customers all around the world. Some people even commissioned dolls. They'd message me with requests, and I'd spend days perfecting every little detail. It just felt so rewarding. My special interest had turned into something creative and productive. I was able to use the money I earned to buy more supplies, experiment with new materials, and just keep creating. It was exciting, fulfilling, and empowering. But like many things with hyperfocus, it also came with lessons. More on that later. Supercharging your passions. So how do we take that power, that deep consuming focus, and use it to build something lasting? Well, the first step is identifying your sparks, those topics, hobbies, or areas that instantly pull you in. You know, the ones that make you lose track of time in the best way possible. Think about what makes your brain light up. What could you research endlessly, talk hours about, or happily even do without a reward? Once you've found that, hyperfocus can become an advantage. Because when you combine interest with focus, learning happens naturally. You absorb details others might overlook. You remember patterns, techniques, facts, because your brain is in deep dive mode. That's how so many autistic creators, artists, scientists, and thinkers have achieved incredible things, not in spite of their hyperfocus, but because of it. For me, that same drive that once went into dolls has now found a home right here in this YouTube channel. I love researching, connecting with all of you, learning from your comments, and being a part of this amazing community. It's helped me build confidence that I didn't even know I had. Honestly, before this, I couldn't even talk in front of a camera. I would freeze, but now it feels a lot more natural. I've learned video editing, improved my sound setup, and thank you, by the way, to everyone who gently mentioned that the audio needed work. I recently got a new microphone and I'm loving how much clearer the sound is. All those little improvements, they come from hyperfocus, from wanting to do better, learn more, and build something meaningful. And I've got to mention another special interest that's brought me so much joy: thrifting. When I'm not filming or writing, you'll probably find me watching thrift videos, thinking about going thrifting, or out at the local thrift shops. I recently found two almost brand new pair of Converse high tops for just $4 each. I love it because I've been able to update my wardrobe with better quality clothes for such a low cost. But for me, thrifting isn't just about finding bargains. It's like my therapy. It's calming, it's exciting, it's creative. I get to explore textures, colors, styles, and give something pre-loved a second chance. It's that same hyper-focused energy, but in a way that feels grounded and good for my mental health. Navigating the intensity, challenges, and solutions. Now let's talk about the other side, because hyperfocus, as powerful as it is, can also be intense. Remember how I said I was deep into my Monster High doll phase? Well, my collection got a little out of hand. At one point, I had so many dolls, over 1,000, that I didn't even know where to put them all. My workspace was overflowing. Shelves, boxes, containers full of doll heads, wigs, paints, tools, you name it. It started to feel less like a creative space and more like clutter. And that was when I realized something important. My special interest had taken over my space and my energy. And combine that with burnout from stress I had at the time, just from life in general, it just added to me feeling overwhelmed. Eventually, I had to cull my collection. I had to decide which ones I truly loved, which ones had meaning, and which ones I could let go of. That experience really taught me how to recognize the signs when a special interest or hyperfocus is tipping to overwhelm. So now when I start noticing those same patterns, losing sleep, skipping meals, forgetting appointments, or my space becoming chaotic, I know it's time to pull back a little. So here are a few strategies that help me keep the balance. Set gentle limits. I use timers or reminders to pull myself out of the deep dive every few hours. Create boundaries around space. If my workspace or hobby area starts creeping into every corner of the house, that's a red flag. Check in with yourself. Ask, am I still enjoying this, or am I starting to feel pressure or anxious about it? And communicate with loved ones. My family knows hyperfocus is a part of how my brain works. So if I go quiet or disappear into a project, they'll gently check in. Balance doesn't mean stopping your passion. It just means keeping enough energy left for everything else that matters too. Unlocking your potential. It might be helpful to reframe the way you think about hyperfocus, that it doesn't have to be a flaw to fix. Maybe it can be a gift, one that can lead to incredible growth, creativity, and even healing when we learn to use it intentionally. So this week, I want to challenge you to pick just one area, one interest, one idea, and let yourself lean into it. Not with pressure or guilt, but just with curiosity. See where it takes you. Maybe it's painting, gardening, coding, writing, organizing, or thrifting, or even if it's something new. Let your brain do what it does best. Deep dive, explore, and create. And if you notice it getting a bit too intense, that's okay too. Just pull back, rest, and reset, and come back when you're ready. You deserve to enjoy your passions without burning out from them. We're a part of a community of people who think differently, feel deeply, and bring something unique into the world. So let's keep celebrating that. Thank you so much for watching. If this video resonated with you, please give it a like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep creating your own kind of extraordinary. And we'll see you in the next one.